Hello, Eric. I love you. And hello, Jennifer Doran. I love you. At psychic medium, jenniferdoran.com, which I will put at the end and remind you at the end.
Hello. Eric says hello. Love you.
Love you. Okay, we're going to do another. Jennifer's so good with mysterious stuff. She's a woman of mystery, I think, right?
It's
Is
the
that right,
Scorpio.
Eric?
It's the Scorpio energy. Yeah, a lot of Scorpio in my chart.
Oh, wow. My husband is a Scorpio. We're going to talk about lost civilizations, which is so mysterious. And we're going to start out with a biggie, the Mayan civilization. Let me read a little bit. We're going to do two parts, 8 this time and 8 the next time. Okay, so my eyes burn. I don't know why. Eric, fix it. Um, the Mayans are acclaimed for being a sophisticated society and for things like inventing the number 0 1,000 years before the concept had entered the European mind. Smarty pants. The 600 CE, by 600 CE, whatever that is. See, the Mayans are definitely smarter than me. The Maya had built thousands of cities around Central America, which makes their disappearance all the more puzzling. What was a bustling and dynamic society can be dated as beginning to decline in the 8th and 9th centuries by archaeologists? Well, something was wrong with the grammar there. What experts can date when the cities were abandoned, they cannot agree on a conclusion as to why this happened. Drought, foreign invasion, collapse of trade routes, and disease are all theories. Some theories that they had contact with aliens. Is it related to that? Yeah, I mean, how did they, first of all, become so civilized? Was it intervention by aliens, and did the aliens just poof, pluck them up, beam them up to a planet, another planet? I mean, what
So,
is it?
so what Eric is saying is that yes, the reason they had so much civilization, kind of what we would consider before their time, that this was alien. I was trying to give me a word.
Intervention?
Like working, yeah, but not really intervention. Not really intervention because he said that would imply that they were doing something wrong and aliens stepped in. It was like an arrangement to kind of start with. Like,
Facilitate? Facilitate?
yes, yes, yeah,
Teaching?
yes,
Teaching?
yeah. From the beginning, and he says there was obvious alien interaction. So the Mayan people knew that they were working with some aliens, but then he said then there were also other aliens that were kind of working like as humans,
Oh, okay.
uh, working as humans in this. And as far as what happened to them, it Eric says it really isn't just one thing. There were drought issues, there were food issues. There was all this kind of stuff, and then he says some just dispersed and just went other areas. So, but the civilizations in the group, it's like they migrated. Some of the people migrated, some died.
Did some go up with the aliens to another planet?
Yes, yes,
Cool. Was it
yes.
Inky? Was it Inky and his group that were facilitating and teaching them, or was it Pleiadian? I mean, was it the Anunnaki? Uh,
Um, so Eric is actually saying that there's a bit of a collaboration. Ah, that's the word.
aha!
Collaboration. That's the word he was trying to give me. There was a bit of a collaboration. So apparently there was more than just one race
Race.
of aliens.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and why were they helping them?
Well, it, it's okay. So Eric says it's like when you have a big company, and they kind of have their shit together in this building. This is where the company runs out of everything. They've got all their shit together, and they decide they're going to open one, across the country,
Yeah.
whatever. And they send some of their, really high up people to go and get this one started. He says it's kind of like that.
Ah.
So this is part of just sort of getting Earth going, getting, you know,
Oh.
getting the humans up and running on their own. There's some of that, but you know, it didn't always work out for
Yeah.
us, which is why we see a lot of these civilizations just kind of being wiped out. It's like, okay, no, hold on, you know, wait a second, back it
We're
up.
gonna have to file chapter 11 on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you said that some were like humans, were they hybrids?
No, he says taking human form. So
Oh, okay.
not hybrids, like taking human form.
So did the Mayans see them as like gods?
Erik says not in the way that we would think of gods right now, because like when you think of gods right now, there's kind of a mystery to them, there's the mysteriousness to them, and during this time they were right there working alongside of them, so it took away
Oh,
some of that,
so
you
it's like,
know.
hey, bro, how you doing? Let's go out
Yeah,
for a drink after we finish with
yeah,
this.
kind of. There's definitely a hierarchy, as
Okay.
Erik puts it, so it's like you need to kind of be learning, and they're kind of like in charge, like, but not
Oh,
in a nasty mean way.
oh,
But
okay.
yeah, not quite the same way we would think of gods now.
Oh, interesting. So, were there any aliens that were nefarious that were trying to sabotage this
Mm-mm.
collaboration?
No, but there were humans that were there
Oh,
were
really?
there were like you know, mutinies, I guess. Is that just for boats?
Yeah,
Are mutinies just for boats, or can you have a mutiny on land?
I don't
It's like,
know. I'm sure. We'll just
yes,
say that. We'll say it
yeah,
so. There are
yes,
no rules here.
yeah. But he says human. That's human. That's, you know, the
Uh,
Mayans were human. You know,
yeah.
they, so that's how humans are. It's, you know, when somebody says this, you're going to have a group that says, no, we're gonna,
So
we're
the
gonna do.
Mayans, there were mutinous Mayans,
Yes,
or like Aztecs or other. Okay.
yes,
Oh,
yep.
wow! Didn't they know these guys have ray guns? You can zap them. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's just human nature, Erik says. As far back as there were humans, there was always humans that didn't want to be told what to do. So,
That's like a toddler tantrum. Okay, so then they're aliens. Why did they allow like droughts and stuff to happen, famine? Didn't they have enough technology to
um,
prevent that from happening?
yeah, well, yes. Erik says yes and no. Um, Earth still has, uh, you know, the way Earth is designed, there's certain areas that are more prone to drought than others, certain
Oh,
areas that are more prone to flooding than others. And, you know, even though the aliens have the technology, it, we're still here to have the experiences.
oh yeah. Ah, okay. So they
Okay.
understood about
Yes.
human experience. So were they the aliens there also for the gold?
Yes.
And were they using the Mayans to help them find the gold also?
Not find the gold, but like get the gold.
What?
Whatever they used to find the gold, they had the technology to find it, but you know, more like mining it or whatever.
Yeah.
The Mayans would help mine it.
But were they enslaved to do so, or just, hey,
No,
can you help us?
not enslaved. There's not that.
Oh,
Erik is not giving me that feeling of enslavement.
okay.
From
So there
the
were
aliens to the
Anunnakis,
Mayans.
probably some other races, maybe Pleiadians. What?
Yeah, yeah. And then you said something that began with an I, like I can't remember when you first started talking, and there was that
Inky?
was
Inky
yes.
is one of the Anunnaki, the nice one.
Okay.
That's a
Yep.
Quatl, isn't he? Was also that. So, any others like the Blue Avians?
Now, of course,
Oh,
any of
it
you who
doesn't,
know, no, I don't know the alien stuff
it don't
very,
make
very
any.
well.
What star
Um,
system did they go back to where the Anunnakis came from?
yes,
The
yes.
how many do you think got beamed up or went to the mothership and went back to the the planet that?
Actually, Erik says about 30%.
Oh,
I always
oh
said,
wow.
give it to me in a clear math percentage.
Okay, that sounds
And
good.
he says about 30%, but a lot of them just died. A lot of them
Oh,
died because of, the drought and the stuff, that was going on Earth.
oh wow. Mm. Okay. Well, you can't have everything, can you?
No, but Eric says like there was some disbursement. There was just some disbursement, like you pick up and you just go someplace
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. You
Where
find
it's
better
no
land.
longer, yeah, like the
Find more
Mayan.
fertile land. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
What did they teach them? Did they teach them better agricultural techniques, for example? Farm hunting?
Yeah, yep. So the farming, the hunting, protecting, basically, I guess war type stuff.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
how to fight, how to protect. Um, the well, I guess the language and the writing were um brought by the
Oh, the
aliens.
math, math, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow. Cool. But I remember seeing this one carving or painting, I guess it was carving, of this Mayan in what looked like an inside of a spaceship. It was so cool. I'm sure
Mm,
that's
mm-hmm,
evidence of, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The late
Yes.
Bronze Age collapse. Around 1200 BC, the entire Eastern Mediterranean, Anatolia, and Aegean region collapsed in a sudden, violent, disruptive manner. Well, that sounds like no fun at all. Almost all the cities were destroyed, and the cultural collapse of the kingdoms brought about the Dark Ages. I did not know that. Hmm. See, Mayans are smarter. Historians believe it might have been due to foreign invasion, a drop in international trade, or natural causes like an earthquake or drought. What's up
Okay.
with that?
So as you were talking about that, Eric was talking to me more about earthquake, drought,
Yeah,
um, natural disasters,
yeah.
um, type of stuff that happened here.
Okay. Was it just a big cataclysm?
Yeah. Yes, it was. And it was supposed to happen. It was going to happen to kind of wipe this civilization out. Is
Mhm.
that right near water? Do they find some of it?
Well, Aegean region, so maybe.
Yeah. It's like it basically feels like it falls off, and you know,
Ugh. Well,
so
it's interesting because Eric talked about these cycles, these galactic cataclysmic cycles, when the solar plane, something or other goes below the solar system plane every 12.5 thousand years, and then that's when this huge cataclysmic destruction happens. It destroys pretty much all of civilization, and that now some ETs are trying to protect us from that happening again. So we're going to start all over again, learning how to walk again, learning how to do, calculus again, all that kind of stuff.
yes, yes.
So is that one of those?
Yeah, it does feel like that because what he's saying is that like it's funny. He's showing me the globe,
Mm-hmm.
Earth, and he says like if you could see it, if you could see what the Earth looked like, over 10,000 years, he's talking about sometimes there's so much more water,
Yeah.
um and and then less, the more like the way the water changes and the way the water moves, it's
Yeah.
changed,
Yeah.
so much, and some of these, like this feels like one that, like the
I
water levels
Yeah, I
affected
think
it.
it's the same. That happened with Noah and the flood, with Atlantis, when the pre-Adamites were totally wiped out with excepting a few, and a lot of people went into the hollow earth. The
Mhm.
Nephilim giants, went underground. So this must be one of those then.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Anything else you want to say about that, Eric?
So what he said is, he said it wasn't to do with the people, it wasn't to wipe those people out specifically.
Yeah.
It's just something that was going to happen through the course of the Earth's history.
It's this galactic cycle of
Mm-hmm.
12.5 thousand years.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, ugh, I hope we're not coming on that pretty anytime soon.
He tells
Anyway,
me not to. He says we don't need to worry about that. And he also says that whatever that cycle is, there is control that can be put over it. Okay, so
yeah.
if the other races of alien, the alien races are, there is something that can be done about it. So he says
Yeah.
it's not something that needs to be worried about.
Okay. All right. So Mohenjo-Daro, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This ancient civilization emerged some 4.5 thousand years ago, thriving along the fertile plains of the Indus River until it mysteriously collapsed. The city of Mohenjo-Daro was unknown till 1911 when archaeologists first visited. Excavations didn't start until 1921. Known for advanced drainage systems and a grid-like construction, the fate of the people and the civilization remains unknown. Theories to explain that fate include a sudden change in the course of the river to an attack by invaders wielding advanced weaponry. So Mohenjo-Daro, near the Indus River.
So what Erik was saying about that, and he says, with most of these civilizations, there's some sort of, probably some fighting or, some attacks or, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that's what wipes them out.
Yeah.
He says with this is illness. There's illness.
Wow.
And it's almost like some sort of a bacteria or something from the water that is what happens here.
It's got to stop pooping in the river.
Yes.
I told them once, I told them 1,000 times, no pooping in the river. So it's a waterborne thing, and they irrigated their crops with it, maybe?
Yes, it feels like something like that where it kind of reaches everybody, but then it's also
Drinking water.
Yeah, and then it's contagious person to person. So it's some sort of a bacteria.
Oh, wait a minute. Was it from animals that drink from the river? And poop in the river too.
Yes, it could very well be that. If something's wrong with the water. So yes, it could be animals. It's not really the people pooping in the river.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll let you off the hook.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
And then it becomes contagious person to person. And he says in this region too, people do leave. Some people do leave.
Yeah. So get me out of here. I'm not gonna be near you pooping animals. Okay, so was it a domesticated animals or was it like rats infecting the water?
No, he's telling me that it would be the animals that they would have perhaps eaten as well. So
is it
whatever.
The river or is it like groundwater?
No, it doesn't feel like groundwater. It's water on the surface, so not underneath.
Okay, so the river, was it the Indus River?
Or or like it pools up, like water, it rains, and even in the rivers and stuff, water will pool around areas outside the river.
So stagnant.
Yes,
water
kind of like it feels like stagnant, or if there's areas sometimes of a river that jut out into a, the river runs through and the water flows, but it just doesn't flow as much in this.
Oh yeah,
it's like calmer.
Those.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he tells me that for the people who did flee and survive this, it was like the area was cursed, so so they didn't come back.
Oh wow. Was it goats, sheep, cattle, all of the above?
Yeah, cattle is what it feels more like to me.
Okay.
The cattle.
And the milk probably was infected.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. And then, but again, it's contagious person to person. Once the people get it, it's contagious person to person.
Oh man. Well, it could be fecal oral. I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so see, poop does come up in this conversation with you people. I told you.
Yes.
All right, so the lost colony of Roanoke. The island of Roanoke. This is a real famous. You guys study this in geography, or history. You guys did. The island of Roanoke, situated off the coast of present-day North Carolina, was established in 1585 by English settlers. The new settlement's governor, John White, left for England to procure more supplies. Lucky him. Leaving behind his wife, not so lucky, daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter. The latter, Virginia Dare, the granddaughter, is believed to be the first English child born in America. Aw, that was the first one who died too. All right, so when White returned in 1590, he found an abandoned colony with the word Croatoan, Croatoan, carved on a post. One of the most popular theories is the occupants of the settlement fled to a nearby island where they assimilated with a Native American tribe of the same name. So what is that about?
Yes. So Erik is saying about that. They did flee. They left.
Why?
Flooding is what he says to me.
Flooding.
Yes, and so he says there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear there. It's almost like we have like, you know, a cult leader or something. Do you know, like how cult leaders, it's like this sort of thing, and there's so much fear. And then you know, water starts coming in. Not massive flooding. This is not flooding that would have killed everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But flooding enough that people got afraid, and they did go to this other island, and assimilated. But
what island is it? Is it present day island, I guess?
Yeah, there is a present day island, and you know.
Forget geography. I know. You love that, don't you?
Yes.
Interesting. So.
So they just go and they assimilate, and that word somehow connects to that tribe.
Okay, so is that a known tribe now, or it was just a tiny tribe that nobody?
Yeah, no, yeah,
okay.
It's not a known tribe now.
Was it? Why was there so much fear there? Besides the cult leader,
why was there so much fear? Why
were there negative entities haunting that place? Maybe it was a burial ground or something weird.
Yeah, so
like open portals or what?
It's got a lot of. It's funny. It has a lot of like supernatural type spirit feel to it. Although Erik says there was nothing actually evil there. But, you know, for anybody who's had an experience with the other side, sometimes it scares the hell out of you, even though it's not evil, you know.
Well, why? Was it a burial site or something, or the site of a war, Native American rituals? I mean, what was there?
Well,
what was there?
There's a combination of things going on. So yes, there were some burials, some people who had been there and died there, but because of this, like the new energy there, the new, you know, like the stuff getting going there, it brought their spirit guides in with them. And sometimes when you make a big move, your spirit guides are very in your face.
Yeah.
And it created some fear for people. And then there was somebody in particular who was like a fear monger. You know, who kind of took control over everybody and perpetuated the fearfulness.
Was he a super religious, like?
Yeah, it has that kind of a feel to it. Yes.
We're going to, you're all sinners. We're going to die if we don't, that kind of thing.
Yes. Hell and damnation and this sort of thing. Yes. And so I don't know how many people were there. I don't know how many people were there, but it feels like a relatively small amount of people. In comparison to nowadays. And so it was just kind of easy to create this control, but there was spirit activity happening there and things going on there.
Okay. Let's see how we're doing on time.
And then Erik says, of course, you know how when you're scared,
I know.
When you create more things to be afraid of.
Of course. Your mind just goes all sorts of worst case scenarios. All right, Nabta Playa. Though little is known about the people who once inhabited this large basin, roughly 500 miles south of modern-day Cairo, or what may have become of them. We have discovered from archaeological sites in the area that the people have farmed domesticated animals and fashioned ceramic vessels more than 9,000 years ago. Among the most striking ruins that remain in Nabta Playa, which means beach, in case you want to know, are stone circles resembling Stonehenge. These circles suggest that the people who once lived here also practiced astronomy. But anyway, I guess it disappeared.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if there was more.
It feels like there should have been.
Yeah, yeah. Seem to just kind of drop off there.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So there is, some alien stuff happening with this group of people, with their technology and their farming and the animals, domesticating the animals, and the astronomy. So there is definitely some of that.
Okay.
This feels like what's kind of interesting is this doesn't feel like a big event that happens. It feels more like they just migrate someplace else due to poor crops or a bad couple seasons, and they just kind of move and disperse, and like this civilization just kind of, or this this area just isn't being used by them anymore.
All right. So, but they had some collaboration with aliens, yes, helping them learn astronomy and probably help them with farming and domestication, little things like that. Just
yep. And Erik says they were not wiped off the planet. They, this is not like a major flood that comes, or famine or anything like that. It's just kind of like, okay. He says this was like they were survivors.
Okay.
And so when things weren't going well, you get a couple bad years of crops, and it's like, okay, no, and that's more what this feels like.
Okay. All right. So basically, all right, but they did have alien collaboration, just like.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what to do about this name. Catalhoyuk. Look at this. Okay. All right. So anyway, I don't know how to put that on the spell check. Okay. Oh. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna pause because Papa did something. Okay, recording. All right, now about this Catalhoyuk, considered by some to be one of the first urban settlements in the world. This ancient city in modern-day Turkey is in some ways most notable for its unusual architecture. Built without streets as we know them, the city was instead a sort of honeycomb of buildings, all connected together. The inhabitants used the rooftops to travel. Cool. Ooh, yeah. It reminds me of that movie with Liam Neeson. Anyway, rabbit hole. Taken. Oh, I love that one.
Yes, that's a good one.
Built without streets as we know them. Okay, climb down ladders to access their dwellings instead of having communal cemeteries. Residents buried their dead beneath the floors of their home. While it's theorized that the city's residents spread out into the rest of the region, its unique architecture and culture seem to have never been reproduced. So anyway, it disappeared. And it sort of dropped off there, but I guess this is a lost civilization. What happened to it?
So Erik says about the way they built their structures, he said it was not ever reproduced because it really wasn't a great plan. It was really not productive. So that's why it's never reproduced like this. And what he's saying is like the kind of the bigger it becomes, it just it really becomes unlivable.
I mean, they'd be sneaking under that floor.
Yes.
When you're
yes. It becomes unlivable. So
falling off the roof right and left.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes. And so the people leave, a lot of people leave the area, but there is quite a bit of death. There is, famine type of issues.
yeah,
And then people leave. It's just not a good structure.
yeah,
It just happens so gradually.
yeah,
It's just like the first two places, and then it just builds out, and then it's just not livable.
yeah. Hope they fired that municipal planner. Mm,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
this
Not a
resident
good
sucks.
plan. This did not come from alien
No,
technology.
no, they would have known better. All right,
Yeah.
we got two more for part one here. Tunis, Egypt. I guess it's Tunis. It's Thonis. A scene is a scene of a scuba diver exploring a massive Egyptian statue may seem like something from the upcoming Tom Cruise Mummy movie, but it's actually archaeologists attempting to piece together the history of the city of Tunis. Once the gateway to Egypt, Tunis is now at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Like the fabled city of Atlantis, Tunis sank beneath the waves. No one is quite certain why, though today archaeologists are attempting to excavate the remains of the sunken city.
Earthquake
Ah.
type issues. It just kind of falls off the,
Bye
grid, so
bye.
to speak. Yes.
Okay, was this a part of a galactic, a 12.5 cycle thing? Like,
No, no, no. It does feel different.
okay.
That to that, because like if you look, places lose their coast. If the
Yeah,
coast
yeah.
gets, the water creeps in and creeps in.
Did everybody die in the city? Or
Well, Eric says this was an event. This was an event that happened.
yeah.
So like an earthquake, or I guess a tsunami or something of this nature. But some people do escape, but many do die.
Oh,
Most, he said, most
oh.
most do
Was it
not
a
survive.
tsunami that sort of wiped out and sunk the city? Or
That's
was
how
it
it does. Yeah, it feels like earthquake and then tsunami, and
so was the
just
earthquake at sea? Or was it on land? Or was it both? Or
Eric is putting it both places for
ah,
me. Um, and again, for this one, it's just something that was going to happen. So when stuff like this is going to happen, then you still have to trigger it. So so the earthquakes and the flood, I guess, because the tsunami creates the flooding situation, was part of the plan
yeah.
for Earth to have happen at this time. Um, and it's some of this stuff. Well, a lot of it, he says, isn't just about what happens in the moment, but here it is thousands of years later, and humans are still trying to figure out the mystery
Uh,
and what happened and what went on. And many people are probably walking around with past life connections to these
oh yeah.
events and to this stuff,
And
which is
oh,
why.
yeah, maybe some of the archaeologists studying it today. Wow.
Yes, yes. So it's so intricately woven together that even though it happens 8, 9,000, 4,000, however many years ago, it's still significant.
Yeah.
Um, and so what he's saying about that is it's kind of one of those things that makes humans realize that even though like our time is linear,
Hmm.
here we are talking about stuff that's happened 8,000 years ago.
I know.
So it's all connected. He says if you can follow that path, I'm sure he would say it much more eloquently than I'm putting it.
Yeah, a couple of F-bombs here and there too.
Yes, but it's like the vastness.
Yeah.
Sometimes humans forget the vastness of who we are,
Yeah.
and
And
these
that
kind of
it's all
things
happening
connect
right
us to
now
it.
too.
Yes, yes, yep.
So to me, it was like, the there's a plate with tectonic plate or something that the earthquake happened on both sides of the
Yes,
lane. Is that what?
yes,
That's what I get from him.
yep.
Wow. All right, one more. This is from Derinkuyu, Derinkuyu. Not as old as and they didn't tell me about how old Kata whatever is, but not as old as Catalhoyuk, perhaps, but equally unusual is the underground city of Derinkuyu. Derinkuyu is also located in what is now Turkey. Though it is not the only underground city in the region, it is one of the most extensive, cool, reaching its greatest size sometimes between the years 500 and 1000 CE. Okay, I don't know what that is. The underground, if anybody says, well, you can't comment. The underground city consists of tunnels and rooms cut into the soft rock of the region, extending down for as much as 5 stories and housing 20,000 people as well as livestock at its peak. How can they get sun to grow there? I don't get it.
Yeah.
The
There's
subterranean,
definitely a food issue here.
I
Eric is saying
know.
there's definitely
The subterranean city once offered respite from the nearby enemies, even after it was used as a residence. It was fully abandoned in 1923, not to be reopened to the public until 1969. They had the little holes in to let sun in, I guess, huh?
Yeah, so this really was great for protection. And there is alien technology here. There is alien help. Collaboration, that's the word. Collaboration.
Now we know.
So but what Eric says about this is that the intention was never for it to get so big. Okay.
Oh.
But they just kept kind of going and going and going. And then they had so many people and there is a food problem, and it just wasn't meant to house so many people. He says really a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand is all it was intended for. And even when it was initially created, it wasn't intended to like stay forever and ever. It's it's like that. And then they're just, when there's 20,000 people living underground like this, there's just not enough food, there's not enough sunlight, there's not enough air, it's
I gotcha.
So it has to be abandoned. These Eric says these people were not wiped out.
Was the death rate pretty high?
It got to be, yes, because of the famine, the food.
So I guess water was a problem.
Yes, it was all a problem. But water, the food.
Couldn't they farm outside and raise the livestock outside?
Yes, but again, Eric is saying the problem is that there was too many people.
Yeah, too many people, basically it.
Yes. Yeah.
The basic theme I'm going to continue is there are too many people pooping everywhere.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Yep.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Pooping everywhere, yes.
All right, enough about poop. I'm going to close this until we do part 2.
Excellent.
And you're really good at this. I want you to do it. It's fun. All right.
I like this kind of stuff.
It's fun. Thank you, Jennifer, so much. Y'all can check her out at psychicmediumjenniferdoran.com, which I will put here. I'm not going to do this anymore because my hands look cute. I'm going to do this here. And Erik, thank you so much. I love you, honey.
I love you
we'll
too.
Do some dowsing work right now. I love you.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Please subscribe. Please share if you love me. Do it if you don't. Who cares? Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.